And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live, again during our new time here on Tuesdays, and starting at a new time as well too at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm really going to enjoy a lot of the sharing that we're going to be doing today, as I'm going to be bringing in Adronis here very shortly, and we're going to be talking about connecting to the higher planes. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion as Adronis comes through and shares this information. But of course, first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and start off with some announcements. And of course, we have some new products that are coming out through AetherX right now on AetherX.co. We also have a new coupon code. The coupon code is all one word, all capital letters, end of May 20, and you can get 20% off everything store-wide on AetherX.co. One of our newest products is called the Transmuter products. They're basically transmuter bags, so backpacks, duffel bags, and tote bags. And basically what they do is they are a preservation technology, where the codes are going into food or drinks or even clothing, apparel, and helps to preserve everything. Taps into the life force of everything that's inside the bag, helps to preserve it, and also helps to clear away any EMFs, ELFs, dirty electricity, environmental toxicity, and more. So you can check that out. It's in our new arrivals on AetherX.co. And of course, I have talked in the past about the Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge Tour. And I'm going to be doing this from July 30th to August 6th. So we have 24 of us going to Stonehenge, checking out Stonehenge, the crop circles, Avalon, looking more into the Pleiades, looking more into Kundalini awakening as well too. I am hosting this entire event. And we basically have one opening. So there was one person that was not able to make it. And so we do have one spot that is now open for the Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge Tour. But looking into this a little bit more, you can kind of get the impression of the schedule. We're going to be doing a lot of different forms of traveling, going from Avebury and the Crop Circle Museum, Stonehenge, and looking into, again, the Kundalini and Inner Practices Workshop, which I'll be hosting, where we'll be awakening people's Kundalini. We'll also be going to Glastonbury, legendary Avalon, mystical Cornwall, the White Horse of Uffington. We're going to be looking much more into connecting with star family, particularly those from the Pleiades. We're going to have, again, a lot of great information from Adronis. Originally, I was not going to have Adronis in the Kundalini tour, but now that he is back, he is going to be coming through at certain times, and he's going to be giving some very, very, very deep education about this. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. I may have some little snippets here and there on video, but this is definitely not something that's going to be live streamed or anything like that. You are going to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience going on an adventure with me through Stonehenge in the UK, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. So this is, again, just giving you a little bit of the highlights of the tour, some of the beautiful sights that we're going to experience going to the UK here in July and August. It's going to be wonderful. And again, even some of the beautiful places that we're going to be staying at. So again, all you have to do is just go to wildtours.de. So you'll find that here, just on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can register now at wildtours.de. We have one opening, okay? So one spot is available. So if you want to grab that and be part of this once-in-a-lifetime amazing experience that I am so incredibly looking forward to, you can go to Wild Tours and sign up there, all right? So that is, again, a once-in-a-lifetime experience I am really looking forward to. I'm happy to share it with you guys as well, too, who will be along for the ride. Okay, and a final announcement. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. All right. So everything on this YouTube channel is backed up onto Odyssey. So again, everything on our New Earth Teachings channel, you can find also on odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. You can also find the link in the video description. Okay, so we can, we're going to firstly, let me straighten myself up here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the Adronis communication with the transmission. So I don't really call it channeling anymore. I'm trying to bite my tongue and not calling it channeling. It's not really channeling anymore. It's basically a blending that's happening. In the old days when I was channeling Adronis, basically I would just kind of take myself out of the picture altogether and bring him in completely. But it's a little bit different now. It's like here I am on this platform and Adronis is here on this platform together with me. And together we are blending. So it's much more of a blending transmission rather than me calling it a channeling state in that way. So I basically try to refer to it just as transmission communication or just transmissions in that particular way. I try not to use the term channeling anymore because I just don't think that's an appropriate term for it. And I don't think it really has been an appropriate term, even with what I've been doing for these many years. I coined it as channeling because it is something that just people talk about quite a bit, quite significantly. But this is something that I have felt has always gone beyond a channeling state. It really is a bonding, something very, very beautiful. It's more of an interlocked transmission state. In the old days, I also referred to certain things as empathic interfacing, and it could be more closer to that as well too. So I try not to use the idea of channeling anymore, right? It doesn't have the best reputation to it, and I just don't refer to it that much in that term anymore. But anyways, we're going to have an Adronis transmission, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him through. Once he finishes with his presentation, then we'll be taking questions here on the chat. After Q&A, we'll be getting into some distance healing as well too. So again, if you guys do have some distance healing requests either for yourself or for somebody else, you can feel free to add your post onto the chat, and I'll be happy to work together with you. Then we'll end everything with a group healing at the same time. Okay, so thank you again, everybody, for being here. I hope you all enjoy the transmission with Adronis today, as we're going to be talking about connecting to the higher dimensions. It's going to be very, very interesting, or I should say not the higher dimensions, the higher planes. Connecting to the higher planes, and Adronis is going to be talking significantly about that. All right, so I'll go ahead and bring him in, and we'll get started. Okay, here we go. Make sure the microphone can pick me up, okay? There. Okay. Terra. Soul Star. Sirius. Adronis. We are here at this time. We bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all the information that you have to share. Also understand that all the information that shall be provided today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. We will discuss the nature of how you are able to connect to the higher planes of consciousness. Now, Adronis, really, what is the entire point that we ourselves as infinite beings decide to come into the physical? That we descend down from these beautiful domains, these beautiful planes that are so exquisite, that are so angelic, that are living paradises where no one suffers. Living paradises where no one is in agony. Living paradises where everyone truly understands their interconnectedness with everyone else. That there is just this pure oneness, pure connection to that which is God, to that which is spirit, to that which is the divine. And we decide to leave all of that and come down here and to make our way back up again. Is that really, truly, in all honesty, how it actually works? 100% correct. Why? Why would we do that? Why would we leave paradise? Why would we leave heaven? Why would we leave that which is perfect and come down here to where everything feels separate, to where everything feels illusionary, physical, solid, intense, where everybody feels like they're at each other's throats? Why would we do that? For the very reason you described. To bring all of those tendencies that have been described back up with you. That's the idea. You're diving into the ocean. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the ocean, until it feels so solid, so dense, that you align yourself, you manifest a form in that solid, dense domain that you call the planet Earth, inhabiting a body that you call a human body, and therefore inhabit this sphere and assist those who are struggling, who are in great agony, who are in great peril, because they have forgotten who they truly are. And that is exactly why you have left the higher domains, the higher planes, and dove in and have come into the bottom of this solid, dense ocean to manifest in this form, to experience this type of body in this way, to experience this type of existence in this way, so that you are bringing heaven on to earth. This is no more different than missionary work. Why do some of you decide to go to other countries where you see that people are starving, that they do not have homes, that they are very much impoverished? Yet there are those of you who pack things up and travel to those countries. Why do you do that? Because you want to be of service. Because you want to be of aid. Because you want to help others. You hear the call and you go. Same thing. Same thing with all of you. Every single one of you heard the call of the earth. You descended from your paradises and you came here. And you incarnated here. And you decided that this is where I need to be. I want to lend a helping hand. Not only that, but I'm going to enrich myself because I'm going to bring myself into a greater state of purity on my way back up. And that's the idea, that when you leave the higher planes, you descend down, and then when you go back up, the wave is greater. And then when you go back down again, and then when you go back up again, the wave is greater. So think of it starting off small, moving up in larger waves each and every single time that you do this. This is not the first time that you've done this. This is not the first time you've gone upon a planet and decided to educate yourself, to bring yourself into retrospectiveness, introspectiveness, and starting to develop yourself further. It's not the first time that you've been in some type of solid reality. It's not the first time you've been in some type of dense situation. You've done it all before. And we mean every single one of you on this planet. There's not a single one of you on this planet who has not done this before. But when you started, it represented a certain size wave. And when you do it again, the wave intensifies. And this is very much the flow. This is the life flow that you go through lifetimes, in between lifetimes, and furthermore. Is that the wave starts to get larger. How does it get larger? Because you learn more about yourself each and every single time. And the nature of this descent is the key to making the wave bigger. It's not when you're up here. It's when you're down here. And the more that you sink deeper and deeper and deeper into the bowels of physical reality to only pull yourself out of it again, that's an enormous wave. And you have all done this. You have all achieved this. Many of you think, oh, I'm on earth for the first time. No, there really is no first, there really is no last. Remember, simultaneous incarnation, simultaneous experiences. You look at it linearly for the sake of linear-based nature, for the sake of continuity. But truly it all comes together and everything happening at once. So, therefore, as we talk about it in that way, to serve a state of continuity, you're looking at yourself when you realize, I have these waves. And now you see exactly what's happening upon your planet, how you're going into the deep bowels of physical reality with all of these challenges. And then when you come out of them, your wave is going to be enormous. And that is what we're going to be discussing today, about connecting to the higher planes. Because many of you have already sunk to the bottom. You've already hit rock bottom in many different ways. Whether it may be conflict pertaining to family and friends, whether it may be conflict pertaining to money situations, finances, career, whether it be challenges relating to world events, whatever it may be. You have certainly hit the surface of the bedrock. And now we're teaching you how to move yourself back up again. Well, Adronis, can you talk more about the higher planes? About what they represent? You have to understand that those particular planes, yes, again, do not involve the nature of your physical body to which you would understand. Your physical body is completely calibrated to function here in this world. You cannot take it with you. What you are doing in the closest, shall we say, metaphor we can give you is an unpeeling of yourself, which means the physical body is being unpeeled. And what remains is the subtle body. So it is very much like how a caterpillar goes into the cocoon, experiences a metamorphosis, and then emerges out of the cocoon as a butterfly. As it emerges out of the cocoon as a butterfly, it is now in a much more subtle body. Now, you already possess that subtle body. The physical body is the husk, and it will reach a certain level of development until the physical body itself expires. As the physical body expires, there is a subtle development that has taken place that represents the matrix of your own totality of subtle bodies. Think of it as an electrical grid. That when you feed power through the electrical grid, you see these lines of power forming. Now, someone who decides to only live here in the physical, who decides to be very materialistic, who is not at peace with their emotions, who is not at peace with their mentality, when we flick that switch, there are indeed the lights that come on, but they are scattered. You had a doctor on this planet that was referred to as Dr. Masaru Emoto. And what he was able to discover was the nature of water crystals. And that if you said something of much more of a belligerent tone pertaining to those crystals, they would start to decay. But if you started to say something very uplifting, enlightening, kind-hearted, you would see that those particular crystals crystallized. Well, this is very much the same idea. That when you again treat yourself poorly, you treat others poorly, you live poorly, you are not in management together with your own emotions, mentalities, tendencies, then basically when we flick that switch, you're seeing an entire grid contained in decay. And that's what happens. Everything is skewed. Everything feels severed and scattered apart. And that body is in duress. So therefore, when that particular entity leaves their physical body, they will require help in assisting with the assemblage of their subtle body, just to make sense of where they are afterwards. Because all of that particular form of negative induced behavior scatters, and it decays, and it deteriorates the grid representing your subtle body matrix. Therefore, you leave that particular body no more different than in some type of psychosis. You basically have nightmares. You have horrifying dreams. You can't make sense of anything because your entire subtle matrix has been distorted. It's been brought into a state of decay. It's deteriorating. Therefore, there will be those, if that one is willing, who can help them in bringing about some type of repair, but it will not be a full repair. And what they will often suggest to that one is that they need to go back into incarnation again, and they need to start working with their own subtle body to bring it back into orientation. In an amusing way, we will say that if you truly want to resolve the nature of your own subtle body matrix, you need to return back to the scene of the crime. And that's incarnation. So if you want to get better, if you want to reorient yourself, you need to go back into the domain to where everything was skewed. You can't just go up here and thinking that you're just going to get all fixed up. We can do a little bit of patching, a little bit of a patch job for you, but that's as far as we can go. You have to go back to the scene of the crime. You need to go back into incarnation again, and you need to clean yourself up, so that you can therefore realign that subtle grid once again. Rather than being greedy, rather than being selfish, rather than being constantly ill, rather than feeling that you're out for number one, maybe it's time that you started looking into selfless service. Maybe it's time you started thinking about others as they are you. And that entity gives it some thought and says, very well, if this is what it takes to repair myself so I can return all the way to the divine again, then that is what I will do. And they come back into the queue. And on some world, it could be Earth, it could be somewhere else, they therefore go through that experience that is, again, a vibrational match to everything that they need to learn to turn themselves around again. And as they continue to succeed with that through the years that they develop themselves through the physical body, and they start to realize that they're getting out of that old habit, they're getting out of those old mentalities that represented the discord and the disarray and the deterioration and the decay of their own subtle matrix, they're bringing it back together. They're meditating more. They're thinking more about others. They are working with others. Perhaps they're even doing that missionary work, going to other countries and wanting to lend a helping hand and being of service. And they are being aware of themselves. Now that matrix is completely refurbishing itself so that when the time comes that they decide to leave this body and now make themselves an ascent upwards, it will be much more of a smooth transition. What we have told you here is indeed the very nature of your own subtle matrix. And if you are basically deteriorating, decaying yourself based upon all of these tendencies and conflicts and agonies and suffering that you put yourself through, your situation is going to be much similar. Because what you fear stays with you. What you agonize over stays with you. What you are unwilling to depart from stays with you. And that's like the psychosis. It is, again, just a mainframe It is a hall of mirrors that is showing you your nightmares, your fears, everything that represents, as you would say, your own negative connotations altogether, preventing yourselves from moving into the upwardness of that wave. So Adronis, what is the key that enables us to move into the upwardness of that wave? Is to know yourself, is to surrender. Oh, there's that word again. There's that word surrender. I guess we really can't get over that, can we? No. Because that's the formula. That's the antidote to your repair. That's the antidote to your refurbishing of self, to your revitalization of yourself. Comes through the nature of surrender. Being still, being silent, and surrendering. But we are going to show you a glimpse of the higher planes during this time, so that you can therefore see what you are looking to move further back into. As you understand that this is indeed the true home of yourself, the higher planes, to where you have descended from, to where you are here in the physical and working your way back up again. And if you can not only just take a look at the glimpse of what we're going to show you, but when you can maintain that, that is what's going to ease your transition up into the higher planes, because what we are here to tell you is that you are, again, simultaneously coexisting with those higher planes right now, right here, while you're in the physical body. And when you coexist with those higher planes communicate with you through the physical, which means they give you shortcuts, which means they tell you how to jump over these hurdles with ease, rather than you thinking that the logical, practical, reasonable way is the only way. Rather than looking at the material resolutions that will only go so far, that are actually only few and far between, when you start to connect with the higher planes, and you live simultaneously, consciously aware of them, they're going to give you shortcuts. They're going to teach you layers of manifestation you never thought existed. They're going to show you grandeur to your life that you never thought was possible. And our intention today is just to give you a glimpse. When you see that glimpse, and if you so decide to maintain that, this has to be your own decision to do so. And so what we would ask all of you to do right now is just letting yourself get relaxed, get comfortable. And we want you to start off with a particular mudra. Basically, again, as you would say, hand gestures. Just performing this, just as you see right now, where the thumb and all the fingers are connected at the tips. And you're simply staying here. And what this does is this is balancing all of the elements pertaining to your body, from the earth to the water, to the fire, to the air, and to the ether. And just keeping this mudra here completely intact. And we would now just ask you to follow the breath as you breathe in through the nose and as you breathe out through the nose. Breathing into the nose for 4 seconds, breathing out through the nose for 6 seconds. Commencing now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Relax. And now we want you to pay attention to the center point that exists inside your head, what you would refer to as the pineal gland, what you would know as the center point of the cranium. What we want you to imagine is to see a thread, like a spider's silk, moving infinitely forward. Seeing another spider silk web coming out through the back, moving infinitely backwards. Seeing a spider silk thread moving infinitely to the left. Spider silk thread moving infinitely out to the right. Spider-like thread moving infinitely upwards. Spider-like thread moving infinitely downwards. And we want you now just to simply remain still. As you remain still, we ask you just to feel the light reverberations of those silken webs that you are feeling right now as they connect to the domains that exist beyond the physical plane. And we want you now to feel the reverberations as those silk threads move into the astral plane. And we want you to feel the fabrics of the astral plane just very slowly starting to pluck each of the webs in front, behind, to the right, to the left, above, and below. And we want you to feel the reverberations as the astral plane's fabrics are plucking these webs right now. And we want you to tune in to those vibrations because they are very subtle. Just be aware of the subtle vibrations of those webs. And what you are going to do is you are going to feel yourself moving up into that astral plane, right here, right now. Bringing your attention to the base of your spine, what you would term as the coccyx. And we want you to see your spine as you look up from the coccyx, going all the way up the top of the head, like a spiral staircase, a spiral geometry. And that this spiral staircase geometry is now starting to move. And it's now starting to move slightly upwards in a counterclockwise direction. And you are feeling your own spine starting to shift, starting to move in a slow counterclockwise fashion, where it is now being calibrated to be in alignment with the astral plane. Feel your spine rotating. Feel it spiraling counterclockwise as you feel the reverberations of those threads being the navigator bringing you up into the astral plane. Feel that corkscrew, that spiraling counterclockwise movement as you start to feel lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. As you can feel a gentle, subtle, spiraling movement moving upwards into the astral plane right here, right now. And we ask you now to open your astral eyes. Not your physical eyes, but your astral eyes are located in the exact same position as your physical eyes. We want you to open your eyes without opening your physical eyes. Opening your astral eyes and being aware of what you see. opening your astral ears and being aware of what you hear. Opening your astral smell and being aware of what you sense. Opening your astral hands and feet and sensing what you can touch. Opening your astral mouth and tongue and feeling what you can taste. And we want you to feel this very space that you are in right now in the astral. And we ask you through your astral body to walk, because you have your astral feet. You can walk throughout the space that you are in, and we want you to feel the textures. We want you to see the sights. We want you to hear the sounds. We want you to smell the scents, to taste everything within this astral domain of the space that you now occupy. And you will notice that as you are experiencing the astral plane, everything feels lighter. There is a greater revealing of light. There is a greater revealing of the subtlety within this plane. For when you look around, you are able to identify everything just as you do in the physical. But there is a lightness quality to everything. You feel lighter because your physical body is not here. It is your astral body. Even though your astral body, when you look at it, it looks pretty much the same, just as your physical body does. But this is the nature of your own impressions. You're still seeing yourself in the physical body that you identify yourself as. You still know yourself as the physical name that you identify yourself as. Yet you are walking in the astral plane of your space. And now we are going to ask you to bring yourself into your inner senses a little bit more. We want you to think of a place. And as you think of that place, we want you to feel like there is a two-way mirror in between where you are right now with your space and looking at the mirror directly in front of you that represents that other space that you have just brought forward into your thought. And we want you now to step through that mirror and enter that new space. Let it be done. And we want you again to take in all of the palpations and senses of that new space that you have entered. What does it look like? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you touch? What do you taste? Be aware of the sensory data contained in this new space that you have stepped in because you're in the astral and you can do that. But take it all in. What are you standing on? What do you smell in the air? Are you breathing oxygen? Be aware of the sensory data. Look around 360 degrees and be aware of this environment, for you are experiencing it astrally, not physically, astrally. And now we ask that where you are right now to be seated upon the ground of where you are and to tune back into the silk threads that are connected in front, behind, left and right, up and down. And we are going to move you into a higher domain of the astral plane. A higher domain to where there is greater subtlety, to where there is a lot more happening at the same time. Because where you are right now is more of the psychic plane that exists within the astral. We're going to move you up further. We're going to move you up into a simultaneity of realities, where you will experience a multitude of different realities at the same time. So, being aware of those silk threads with the intention laid in to connecting with the higher astral plane, the non-linear astral plane. And again, as you tune into those threads and you feel the reverberations of the fabrics of the higher astral plane, tune into those reverberations, for this is your navigator. Tune into the threads in front, behind, to the left, to the right, above and below. Locking in the vibrational coordinates representing the higher astral plane. And now going back into the coccyx, the base of the spine, and again feeling the spine like a corkscrew, like a spiral, slowly starting to move and moving a little bit faster counterclockwise this time. And you are feeling yourself moving upwards, far past where you have been previously. And you are feeling the upward movement of the spiral, moving you further upwards into the higher astral, where you are seeing different pockets of dimensions surrounding you, 360 degrees. Where you are seeing images within images, dimensions within dimensions, realms within realms, overlays upon overlays. As you would understand, superimposed images. And that through your focus determines the reality that you wish to engage with. With all of those overlays that you are witnessing, focus upon one that you wish to engage with, and let that reality now be the pristine picture that you see. And experience whatever that reality is that it wants to share with you. Take it all in through the senses. What you see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. What you feel within. Be aware of it. Know that you are standing upon the ground of an astral plane on a higher level. Ground that with you. Make it yourself. Make it part of you, for it is. Take it all in. And now focus out again, which means you're just coming back into calmness. You're no longer engaging the focus representing action. You are now surrendering and coming back into neutrality. As you come back into neutrality, the superimposed, overlaid frames are exposed once again. And you are able to move yourself through the nature of thought to look at all of these events that are now occurring simultaneously as overlays. Overlays over overlays over overlays over overlays over overlays over overlays over overlays. And you see this entire Rolodex, kaleidoscope, superimposed imagery. And you can move through it like a library and see any particular significator of time and space that you want to interact with that will interface together with you. Just through your thought. See it now. And when you find something, again, that is of an interest to yourself, focus the mind like a laser beam that is pointing upon that overlay significator, and watch it come to life as you are there now. And you're taking in all of the sensory data. Perhaps you see others there. If you see others there, you can feel free to greet them if you wish. But just remember that you are just visiting these planes. And you are seeing a great deal more information relating to everything that you are experiencing in this plane. Looking at a table can enable you that when you draw back, you can look at different versions of that table altogether. Looking at that person, when you draw back into surrender, you can see all the facets of them at once, overlays upon overlays upon overlays. It is your focus that makes everything seamless. It is your focus that makes everything prominent within the reality that you're focusing upon. But when you draw back into the state of surrender, you see how the overlays, like a carousel, come back. We wish to share with you, this is exactly how we function. This is the reality to which we exist. And this is how we see you. Now, when you see a person in that way, and you draw back and you surrender, and you see all of these apparitions of overlays together with them, and they may ask you a question, Adronis, what do you see with us right now? Well, we see about 1,000 different overlays of yourself. What would you like us to look at? That's where we're coming from. Oh, I really want to go into this job. And so we zoom in to the probability, this probable version of yourself that is contained inside this job. Is that something that I'm going to enjoy? We look at it. We see that you're not really happy there. We draw back. No, not really. We don't really see you too happy in that job. What? Really? I thought this is the type of job for me, etc., etc. We're giving you a sneak peek at how we see all of you. We see all the facets of you as these imageries of overlays. And we can see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of different bodies of yourself, all aligning together in the state of probability, but not certainty. This is why we can never say, oh, for certain, this is what you're going to do. No, we're just tuning into an image, an overlay of yourself that represents a possibility. And we zoom into that. And we come into that reality. No, it's not really true. It's not really true that you're going to enjoy that job. It feels like you're going to be a lot more miserable there because we feel the depression that you're experiencing doing that job. It may seem exciting at first, but later on down the road, we're going to see how it's not going to excite you too much. Whether that shocks you or whether you would resonate with that doesn't really matter. That's what we see through that particular overlay image of one of thousands of probable bodies that are around you right now. And we zoom back out. Just like what you're experiencing right now. Through a person, through an object, through a location. You can again step back out and you can look at all of the overlays pertaining to a certain location. You can see it during its sunrise. You can see it during its high noon. You can see it during its sunset. You can see it during its midnight. You can see it throughout the span of time to where it is a blossoming forest, to where it simply is just an open field surrounded by acorns that will become a mighty forest one day, to where everything in regards to that forest has now perished. These are again the extents that you are able to perform within the higher astral plane, where you're able to see everything simultaneously as overlaid images based on your thought and focused intent. That is how we live. That's how we exist. Very much in that periphery and nature of vantage point. Do you see where we're coming from a little bit more here? This is much more closer to the true nature of yourself than what you experience in the physical plane. You're seeing the behind the scenes of how everything holographically is available to you simply through the intention to be there, and that you are utilizing this instrument to helping you move up through a sneak peek to get an impression about the astral plane, about the higher astral plane. We could even bring you up into the causal, but we're going to leave that for another time because that is a different experience altogether that would need a little more further explanation. And as we would say, there are time restraints to this communication today. So we would ask you just to remain here for one more moment or two. And again, just taking everything in. And we want you to realize that what you are witnessing right now is yourself. It is yourself with the blinders off. It is yourself with veils unpeeled. You have pierced layers, and you are seeing the greater inner workings of yourself. In fact, many of you may have already seen this if you have done, for example, psychedelics in the past. You will see that through certain psychedelic states that there is a kaleidoscopic vision where you feel like multitude of different frames of reality are appearing before you at once. Well, that's exactly what the substance is doing. It's aligning your body. It's aligning your own prana. It's aligning everything pertaining to this perceptual vessel to move up into those particular dimensions where you are able to see a multitude of happenings occurring all at once. Very much in the way that we have just described to you. And that is your connection to the higher planes. And you have not even received a tip of the iceberg yet. This is only giving you, as you would say, a brief version of understanding the higher planes that you are simultaneously a part of right here, right now, that you have the capability to access right here, right now, just as we have shown you, utilizing a simple meditative exercise like what we have described. And it's you. Everything you experience is yourself. And now we ask you to come back to neutralize yourself once again and to feel the flow of the spine moving in a clockwise direction, bringing yourself into a greater descent, going downwards, being aware of the reverberations of the threads as they start to line themselves much more into the physical manifestation. And you are spiraling back down to the coccyx, to the base of your spine, grounding yourself back into physical reality. And just grounding your entire experience with you. Everything that you have felt in the psychic astral plane and the higher astral plane, let it be grounded together with you. And that through the nature of the spine moving you up, that is helping you to move into these higher planes. It's all through the work of the spine. The spine is the elevator. It's the elevator that is enabling you to move seamlessly into these other planes of reality, just as you have shared with us here and now. And as you dock yourself back into the physical plane, we ask you to take those threads and just starting to retract them back into the pineal gland. In front, behind, left, right, top, bottom. All retracting themselves back into the pineal gland. And taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And relax yourselves. And we want to thank you for this interaction today. We want to thank you for allowing us to come through and sharing this experience so that you got a glimpse of how we are able to see you, of how we are able to work together with you in this way, because that is how we see life, through the simultaneity of everything that's here right now. Thank you for this interaction, and we will now move forward into your question and answer period. One moment, please, as we return to the conduit. All right. That was quite an adventure, my friends. I hope you guys got to experience that as well, too. I hope you got to be able to feel the counterclockwise movement and moving yourself up into these higher planes. It was wonderful. Certainly feeling that for myself as well, too. I experienced something of that nature back in around 2020. I was actually taking psilocybin at the time. I think it was 2020, I believe it was. And I was taking psilocybin, and I basically was taught this technique by the mushrooms themselves, that you can actually spiral your spine upwards, and that's going to move you up into the astral planes, into the causal planes, into the higher celestial planes, into the higher light planes. You can basically move anywhere, and that is the basis of what we know as the Merkaba, right? The Merkaba is also connected to the spine, right? And so when we're basically looking into the rotation of the Merkaba vessel appropriately based upon coordination, it can take you into different planes of reality. So that's the spine. The spine is your chariot, right? So when you start to work together with that, it's a wonderful adventure that comes about. All right. Okay, guys, so if you do have any questions, either for myself or for Adronis, you can feel free to put that in the chat. Very shortly, we're going to go here into healing. So we're probably going to do the healing here in about the next 20 to 25 minutes. So we have about 20 to 25 minutes here of Q&A time. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. If you have a priority question, you can feel free to use the YouTube Super Chat donation. And just remember to put your question with your donation, and that will bring you first in line. Okay. All right, let's go up the list. I'm just looking at the list here upwards. Okay, here's one from Vibing High. Vibing High says, "Hi Brad and Adronis, please can you comment on the who new regs where they intended?" Yeah, I'm not doing political questions that much anymore, guys, okay? It really doesn't help you to look into those things relating to, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are they going to do this to us? Right? Because then you go back into victim consciousness again, right? So I'm not too sure if all of you guys got the memo with that. I'm not really looking into that stuff anymore with politics and deep conspiracy and all that stuff, okay? It really just doesn't help you guys to look into that. It causes more disarray, and you feel powerless. You feel powerless when you look at that stuff. And I say, guys, don't feel powerless. You are powerful, right? So what I would suggest is, even if you decide to look into that stuff, take what you have learned today and move upwards and see the many vantage points to which that represents. And you will be educated a lot further, okay? But as I've talked about in the past, I'm basically steering away from political discussion and deep conspiracy discussion, because it's more of a drain on your energy than anything else. This one here is from Liliana. Liliana says, "Hi Brad and Adronis, can we increase stem cells naturally?" Okay, so let me go ahead and bring Adronis in. Liliana, it's a very good question. Can we increase stem cells naturally? All right, one moment. We thank you very much, Liliana, for your question about the development of stem cells. If you know how to work together and when you understand the cycles of how the stem cells work, yes. You see, you're not just going to snap your fingers and say, increase my stem cells. When you do not know the cyclic nature about how the stem cells themselves operate, this is what involves observational study. If you really want to get to know how you can improve your body, you want to understand your cellular-based systems to a greater degree. Now, spirit, of course, can do all. And if you rely upon spirit to enable you to go through certain shifts, that can certainly happen in a certain degree. But what we ask you is to not rob yourself of the education to how you see how stem cells themselves operate. We ask you to look into the research of how they operate. You can even do this through meditation, just as you are doing with us, where you move yourself up astrally and you see all the vantage points pertaining to the stem cells in the body. And you can now, like non-linear editing, move through and now start to look into the life cycle of stem cells, about how they move, about how they grow, about how they propagate, about how they nourish themselves, about how they benefit the body. When you have much more of that greater understanding, you can command them. And you command them because you formed a relationship with them. You formed a relationship with those particular types of cells. It's the same thing with red blood cells. You see how, again, they work together with the nature of oxygen. You see their cycles, and you can stimulate them further. You look at white blood cells. You see how they defend the body. You're aware of their cycles, and you now understand them better. The same thing goes with your organs. You're able to look into the organs to understand much more of their cycles and their functioning. You're building relationship. So the rule here is very simple. That which you form a relationship with becomes available at your beck and call. That which you form a relationship with becomes available at your beck and call. We want you to remember that. So therefore, if you have a keen study of looking into the cycles pertaining to stem cells, to any other cellular material within the body, to within the organs and so forth, and you study it, that's what's creating a relationship. And through that relationship, because there is rapport there, that form of study that you have brought forward through this particular process of cells and other material, that relationship is now available to you at your beck and call, at your command. And therefore, as you understand the stem cells, through the power of your thought, you can watch them grow because you understand their cycle. You have alleviated your ignorance relating to thinking, oh, I don't know how they work. Well, now you can. So whether you decide to do physical study, whether you decide to go into meditation and work with them in the astral plane to look at their variances and looking at their different forms of study there, that too is appropriate. But it's forming the relationship in regards to the intricacies of your body and the body as a whole. As you understand the nature of the body, and everything that is now touched to the nature of relationship, everything that your body is now at your beck and call of command. That's how it works. So Adronis, what happens if I do have such a very strong relationship just in the nature of the inner workings of my body? Does this mean I can extend my life? Yes. Does this mean I can live hundreds of years? Yes. Does this mean I can eliminate any particular illness that's within me? Yes. Does this mean I can help others and I can help them to alleviate their own problems? Yes. Because they all work together with the similar instruments. This is where the benefactor pertaining to relationship is the greatest benefit overall for yourself. Why do you think much of your star family lives thousands of years? Do you think that they are ignorant to their vessels? They're not. They're aware of every single inner working of their body because they formed relationship. It's not to say that you need to be, as you would say, a technical egghead here. It's that you're bonding in relationship to the body and the intricacies that make the body the body. And so when you start to form relationship by studying it, it's like your friend. My friend, how was your work today? How was your day today? How are you feeling? What do you like? Tell me what your interests are. What is it that you feel you don't like? Tell me that. You're getting to know your friend, and over time, you know your friend in and out. Because you have that rapport. You care about them. You like them. You love them. Well, the same thing goes for your body. My friend, what is it like? Tell me what it's like being a white blood cell, a stem cell, a kidney cell, a heart cell. What is it like being the heart? What is it like being the liver? What is it like being the kidneys? Let me see your life cycle. And you're getting to know your body inside and out. Now, as you're aware of your body, you can manipulate it. You can grow your hair back. You can give yourself perfect 20/20 vision. You can improve your memory. You can improve the performance of your own vitality and life force. You can extend your life force. You can extend your life cycle. But you have to get to know the body. You want to film, you want to bring forward a rapport, a relationship. It's like you are, again, filing yourself in this cabinet and you're being aware of all the things that make your body what it is. You're filing it and you're bringing it forward. And now you have all of this knowledge. Now you have all of this sharing. And this is, again, how many beings are able to extend their lives hundreds or even thousands of years, because they are not ignorant to the inner workings of their body. They have formed a relationship, much more emotionally, much more mentally, much more through a heart-centered nature, rather than thinking that it is dry scientific distinctions in that way. And that's not really a relationship. Would you really have a friend who you would just want to run dry statistics over with? Not really. It's not going to be a very good relationship. It needs to be a heart-centered one. And you want to be very heart-centered with your body. You want to get to know this body, because you can have this body for a great amount of time if you wish, but many of you haven't, because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to form the true spiritual bond between body and yourself. The body is not some evil thing. As many of, shall we say, certain ascetics have talked about in the past, relating to the body and saying, oh, this body is such a burden and you need to let it go. We would not agree with that. We would say it's true that the body is not truly that you are what you are, but it is an instrument that has been given to you as a gift. It's been given to you by the earth. And so the whole idea is that you're not attaching to it, but you're not throwing it away at the same time. You're getting to know this instrument that you are sharing yourself with through this lifetime. Why not get to know it? Not to obsess over it, not to be overly attached with it, but getting to know it. When the time comes where the body expires, you are thankful for everything that it has shared with you, and you're able to move on without a second thought. But while you are here, get to know the body, get to know the physical world, because it's the exact same thing. You form a relationship with all things in life. That relationship is now at your beck and call for command. And that's the importance to realize here. All right? We thank you very much, Liliana, for your question. Okay. So, Liliana, very good question. Thank you very much on that. Okay, let's go down the list and see if there's other questions. Okay. So just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just looking at the questions here. Okay, Helen has a question here for Adronis. What is your opinion on remote viewing? Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Adronis can share some information on remote viewing, and I think after that we'll move right into healing requests. Okay, so again, guys, if you do have some healing requests, feel free to place that in the chat. Okay, either for yourself or for somebody else. But right now we'll take a look at remote viewing that Helen asked about Adronis regarding. We thank you very much, Helen, for your question. Well, if you're looking at the nature of remote viewing, very much what we have just described to you previously through the exercise that you have done is in essence a type of remote viewing. Because you have moved yourself into the higher astral planes, you're able to look at different variations of people, places, events, things, and being able to investigate them. All the nature of remote viewing is no more different than a type of psychic projection. It's projecting yourself into a certain space where you have opened up appropriate channels for yourself to receive the feedback of information to what you are visiting subtly and bring it forward into some type of communicative position in life. So whether you're deciding to write a report and you're simply remote viewing a location, and again, you have opened up the channels appropriately, because this is often done through certain forms of breathing exercises. This is often done, again, through certain degrees of meditation that's enabling you to expand yourself openly, freely. And therefore, those channels are again like veins. And instantaneously, you're bringing all of this data in regards to what can be assimilated through you to therefore write down on a piece of paper or share vocally or what have you. It's nothing more than the idea of non-linear perception. It's not really remote. It's a non-linear form of perception to which you are opening up your subtleties and working together on a certain location that you have targeted through the nature of focus, just like what you did through the meditation. When you focus, therefore you get the information of the subject or the object. And then when you go out of focus, everything returns back into the omnipresent nature of all. So that's all you're really doing in a state of remote viewing or non-linear viewing. You are simply perceiving non-linearly this information based upon a state of focus that's coming through you as a conduit, as a vessel, to therefore document in your own appropriate way. You have to develop this over time. It's not something that can instantly come to you, other than those who may already have the necessary channels to perform non-linear perception altogether naturally. But for those of you who do not have that, then basically this is what you would need to develop more and more over time. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Helen, for your question. All right. Okay, guys, so I want to thank you for all of your questions. I want to thank you for your participation. I hope you've enjoyed the interaction with Adronis today. He had a lot of great stuff to share. And now we're going to go ahead and move into healing requests. Okay, so again, I'm probably going to do up to maybe about 3 individuals, and then we're going to do a group healing to end the broadcast. All right. So this one here is from the person who calls themselves Listen ... Listen ... says, can you please heal my addiction? I have tried so many things so many times and can't seem to get a handle on it. Please. And many thanks and blessings. So listen, well, here's what I'd say. Listen. The whole idea with an addiction is because you still see it as something that you feel you cannot beat. You're trying to look towards externals for it, right? Now, I can help you out a little bit, right, with some healing work. But really what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to work with the free techniques that are on my playlists, okay? Whether it's prana transmission technique, whether it's the the release ball method, I should say. Any of those that can really, really help you further, because the whole idea, listen, is that you're working with externals. You're trying to work with external things. You're trying to work with meditation, and it doesn't work, okay? None of that stuff works. If you want to let go of addiction, firstly, you have to be completely at peace in acknowledging that you have an addiction, okay? That's the first step. If I want to clear away an addiction, I have to basically acknowledge that I do have this addiction. And the second thing, that once after I acknowledge it, I have to be completely at peace that I know that I have this addiction. And I'm okay with it. If I'm doing drugs, I'm okay with it. If I'm smoking, I'm okay with it. If I'm drinking alcohol, I'm okay with it. I need to be at peace with it. Because I am adversarial with what I'm doing pertaining to a state of addiction, that's why the addiction lasts. Because you are at odds with your addiction, that's why the addiction remains. Okay? So when you basically have brought yourself in saying, I have done this and I'm okay with it, and now I can let it go. Now I can surrender. The only reason why a person is still under an addiction is because they are in animosity with it. They're at odds with it. They're battling with it. It's a good versus evil struggle. It's an us versus them struggle. It's a versus, right? Rather, we take out the verses and we bring in equilibrium. We bring in harmony, right? So I would say it's okay that I have smoked. It's okay that I have drank. It is okay that I have done drugs. It's okay that I have been addicted to sex, right? That's again one of the 2 first steps. Acknowledgement, and again saying that it's okay, at peace with your addiction. Okay? When you can do that, everything falls away. Okay? So what I'm going to do with you, listen, right now, is I don't want to take your addiction away with you, okay? Because that's going to rob you of a lesson. You have to see that lesson yourself. What I can do is I can just bring a lot of love energy, a lot of support energy into you, so that you have the strength to look at this a lot more deeper and watch it dissolve, right? think of it as a pillar, right? Oh, I hate this pillar. This pillar is horrible. It's so dense and it's so hard and it's so strong, and I'm always fighting with this pillar, and it's an addiction I wish I could beat, and I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like what I'm doing. I hate who I am. I hate that I'm addicted to this thing. I'm hating that this thing is always running my life. I hate. Okay? And that's exactly why it's here. It is the manifestation of your own emotional turmoil, and that's an addiction. Okay? Rather, I let go of the verses. I let go of all the flames of anger. I snuff it out. And I said, it's okay that I've done this. It's okay that I've drank. It's okay that I've smoked. It's okay that I've done drugs. It's okay that I've had these addictions. And it starts to fade away. That's the simple trick to it, guys. It's a trick. Okay? So listen, I will go ahead right now and I'll just do some love energy work on yourself just to help you. Okay? And you can always feel free to let me know how you're doing. Okay? So you can go to newearthteachings.com and there's a contact page there. You can let me know, maybe over the next little while, how things are going afterwards. But let's go ahead and do this now. So listen, I just want you to go ahead and be with me right now. I just want you to place your hands in prayer posture just like this. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths in and out. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One last time. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to feel like your heart is opening up like a blossoming flower. And you're feeling all this heart light coming out of the heart, and it's just moving itself in between the palms. And all you're doing right now is just as you inhale and exhale, you're just moving the hands out, expanding that light, permeating it through the vast cosmos that you are. Fully extending your hands as far as they can go. And that light permeating all of the cosmos is your love, your trust, your faith. You're bringing the hands back. As you're slowly bringing the hands back, you're just saying to yourself, I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Okay? So listen, we will go ahead and do this now. Here we go. And listen, just bringing your hands slowly back together. As you're slowly bringing your hands back together, you're just saying to yourself, God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. Bring your hands again back into prayer posture. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and relax. Okay? So, thank you very much, listen, for your sharing. Right? Like I said, and that's the only thing. Guys, that goes for everybody who's battling with addictions. Okay? Nobody will really tell them that that's how simple it is to release an addiction, because they basically have a lot of these addiction groups that basically need to make money, right? And if they try and make it sound like this is so easy to clear away on yourself, well, then they're not going to be able to have a lot of your money, right? But, of course, I'm not interested in that. So I'm basically just telling you guys the root to the nature of why addiction exists and how you can clear it away like that. Okay? So the best way is that when you know yourself to be a very compassionate person and you're leading by the heart and you're just expanding the light out of the heart and realizing that through the compassion that I have, I can give the compassion that I have to snuff out that flame of thinking that addiction and I are adversaries. When there's no more adversaries, when there's nothing but neutrality that remains, the addiction itself fades away. Okay? And that's for everybody. Okay? And like I said, some people are addicted to their own emotions. They're addicted to their own events in life. And basically, like I said, do you guys have compassion? When you see somebody hurt, would you want to go help them? When it's somebody who you deeply love, would you want to be there for them? I pretty much would hear the majority of you say, yes, of course, yes, of course. All right. Well, right now, you're hurt. And can you be there for yourself? And can you take off that big VS, the verses, snuff it out, and just realize that here's you and here's the blockage. And now when there's no more fighting, there's no more retaliation, that blockage shrinks. And now here you are, expanding. Okay? That's what surrendering does, my friends. And we continue to surrender to every single thing, because as long as we are impaired, not being in peace with ourselves, we're basically addicted to pain. We're addicted to our suffering. We know we don't like it. We know we want to clear it away. We know we want to feel we want to get rid of it, right? But again, you're still seeing it as that horrible black pillar. It's horrible, it's awful, this is terrible. And I'm thinking this way, oh, the horrible things in the world, the horrible things these people are doing, the horrible things I've had to go through, the horrible people that I've met, the narcissists that I've met, blah, 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 blah. It's all adversaries. It's nothing but foes. It's nothing but enemies. Enemies that you yourself create. And what happens when you wash all that away? What happens when you snuff out the flame? It's dropped. It's dropped. It's dropped. This is why I just give simple templates of exercises, whether it's release ball method, whether it's prana transmission technique, whether it's BCR, anything of that nature, right? These are all simple permission slips that you're doing for yourself to snuff out those fires. Nothing is now engorged in flames anymore. It's all set free. That's it, guys. That's your way out of everything, is to no longer have adversarial nature, but to be at peace with everything, to neutralize it. The addictions will go. You will no longer suffer. And now you can start building relationship, just as Adronis was sharing to Liliana about her wanting to know more about stem cells. Guys, that's the power that you have. You haven't been taught this, because there's no money in being taught this wisdom, right? They can't make money off this. We can't tell people in the world that they're God. We can't tell people in the world that if they form a relationship with their body, that they can live thousands of years. We can't tell them that as soon as they let go of these adversarial tendencies of themselves, that everything pertaining to their suffering will disappear and all that remains is peace and contentment and joy and happiness and excitement. Where's the money in that? That's exactly why we haven't been taught this, guys. Because the world's a business. Okay? And there's no money in giving you wisdom. Right? You have to feel it from within yourself. Very important to remember. All right? Okay, let's go to Judah. Judah here has a donation. Thank you, Judah. Judah says, hi, can you please heal my stomach? It's really bad for the past few years now. Medication doesn't help. No, it doesn't. And you're right about that. Medication certainly doesn't help. So, Judah, if you do have the means, I would suggest just being able to slowly transition off that medication and start working with some other healthier aspects. Right? I wouldn't say alternatives, but more so that alternatives truly are the true answer. Okay? One of the things that can also help you with your stomach is ozone. Okay? Whether you're doing ozone supplements or whether you're going to an ozone clinic, and that can help you out with your stomach as well too. Right? Probiotics, not always. Okay? Probiotics are not always the answer. The reason being is if you have any particular type of compromising pertaining to digestion, or if you have bacterial overgrowth within your digestion, probiotics can actually be much more of a detriment upon yourself than a benefit. Okay? Be a little more careful with probiotics. Okay? You want to make sure that your digestion is in good health. You want to make sure that you're not getting any form of bacterial leakage or bacterial overproduction in the digestive system. And if you're bringing probiotics, you're basically contaminating all of those millions or billions of culture into bad bacteria. Okay? So probiotics is not really the answer. What you really need to do is clean yourself out, detoxification. This is why I'd say one of the best things to do is ozone. Okay? Ozone supplements or ozone treatment. And that's helping to clean out the entire body. You may want to look into the idea of rebuilding stomach acid. Okay? Celery juice is well known for that. Betaine hydrochloride is also well known for that. Right? You want to repair the glands. You want to drink lots of water. You want to have lemon water. That is also something very beneficial for your stomach as well too. Okay? But anyways, Jada, I will go ahead and do some healing work on your stomach right now for you. But I'd like you to look up into those things that have been mentioned, okay? So, Jada, just get yourself nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable. Now you take a quick drink. It is super crazy hot where I am. That's why I have a spinning fan in the background here. It's like 32 degrees out here today. It's crazy. Celsius, right? Not Fahrenheit. Okay, so Jetta, go ahead and place your hands here in prayer posture. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Second time, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Okay. Opening up the heart, feeling all that heart light coming in between the palms. Expanding your hands out. Bringing them out as far and wide as you can as you expand the light, permeating the vast cosmos that you are, representing your love, your trust, and your faith. Bringing your hands slowly back, saying to yourself, I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Okay? We will go ahead and we will begin. Here we go. Now, Jetta, just bringing your hands out further and further, grabbing a hold of that light and bringing that light slowly back into your heart. Just saying to yourself right now, God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. Right? Feeling yourself centered, at peace, in harmony. Your stomach is now perfect. It is now an optimal level of health and well-being. It is absent of any problems whatsoever. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and relax, and come on back, okay? So Jetta, that'll take care of your stomach problems, but again, I'd like you just to look into some of the things I was discussing, okay? So with ozone, all right, making sure you're just taking good care of the glands of the stomach, okay? Betaine, hydrochloride is good. Celery juice on an empty stomach is also very good. Medical medium is quite correct about that, okay? And everything regarding to like lemon water as well too. Just some good citrus formulas as well too. Lemon, oranges as well too. That can help. Lime is also very good. Okay, that helps to replenish a lot of the glands. It's like giving them a good thorough cleaning. Right. You could even take a little tiny bit of apple cider vinegar. Okay, that can also help you. Thank you, Jetta. And if you can, try and wane off that medication. Try and transition off it. Unfortunately, guys, when we're getting medication from Western doctors, well, I'm not going to get too much into it, but you know, the true medicine is in nature. That's the key here. All right, so we're going to take one more healing request, and we're going to go into a group healing. Let me just see if I can find another person here. Okay, I think we'll end with Terry's. Terry has a question here. Brad, my daughter was born with a crooked spine. It looks like a slight letter S. She isn't in any pain at all. Our question is, would this interfere with her opening up her Kundalini? Yeah. And basically the reason why there is a lot of crookedness in the spine is because of Kundalini perturbations, okay? And a lot of it has to do with survival issues. A lot of it has to do with relationship issues as well too. You could say basically the lower 3 chakra tendencies, okay? So a lot of that is fear and dependency. A lot of it is sexual hurt, relationships. You say, well, maybe my daughter's a few years old. Well, it goes back into other life streams that are converging upon her right now, okay? Like I said, guys, when you leave a body, right, and you're in spirit, you decide to incarnate again, if you have not really done a lot of the healing upon yourself that's necessary, you take that with you, right? And that is therefore going to give you the geometrical shaping pertaining to, say, for example, a crooked spine or chronic conditions, or any other particular severe conditions that even children themselves can have. This is lasting debris that has been carried over from one life stream into another life stream, okay? So all we're basically going to do is we're just going to help to forgive, clear away a lot of the pressing life streams that have basically caused that letter S and allowing the spine to naturally reform. Okay, so that's what I'll do for your daughter. I don't think I got her name, so I'll just refer to her as Terry's girl. Okay, I'll call her Terry's girl. So with Terry's girl, we're just going to basically do that. Okay, we're just going to negotiate with the life streams. We're going to see if all these things can be forgiven, because again, we're looking at the probable selves of your daughter, Terry. Okay, and knowing that she can remedy this, that she can get through this, and it can be healed altogether. Okay, so we're just negotiating with the life streams to see what can be forgiven, so that the entire body can heal itself. All right. So I will go ahead and do that for you now. Terry, if you want to send love to your daughter in the background, anybody else who wants to send love to her in the background can feel free to do so. Okay, so I'm just going to be working with Terry's girl's higher self here. Okay, Terry's girl's higher self is present with me, and we will begin. Okay, bringing the hands up, bringing the light back in. God is making her better. God is making her better. God is making her better. Okay. So Terry, I just want you to observe your daughter over the next 30 days. You may start to notice that she may be going through some mild adjustments. This is why we're doing it kind of over a 30-day span. You may notice that her spine will start to get less and less crooked. Okay, so there'll be some certain adjustments that are happening. I think a lot of those adjustments will probably happen when she's sleeping. Okay, but it's going to happen through a transitional way. So just observe it over time. We basically just polished her life streams that were causing this particular condition. Okay, guys? Whenever there's any particular form of deterioration upon the body, the deterioration is from anguish. Anguish physically, mentally, emotionally, okay, but primarily on the subtle levels. It's this subtle agony that has been intensified. It's like the video I was talking about yesterday that I did when I was in my truck, right, where we see the Richter scale, we see the intense waves that are coming about altogether. That over time is what leads to decay and deterioration. And like Adronis was talking about, the subtle matrix in your body, the grid itself, is going into decay and it's going into deterioration because these particular forms of vibrational geometries are not in synchronous alignment with themselves. The body itself will appropriate itself based upon all of these deteriorations and decays that are happening with the subtle matrix of the body. So we'll get crooked spines, we'll get liver disease, we'll get heart disease, we'll have problems within ourselves because the geometry is so skewed and decayed and deteriorated. How does it really get that way? It all comes back into our subtle states. Okay? These subtle states that are basically supposed to move very, very peacefully are having this happen to them. Okay? It's emotional overload. It's emotional overload. It's emotional earthquakes. It's mental tremors, and all of that is taking its toll upon the body. So we just want to harmonize that, bring it back into peace. As we do that, then over time the body starts to harmonize itself and returns back into natural order. And this is what we call miracles. Really, there's nothing miraculous about it. It's just that you're restoring your subtle body into its appropriate alignment that therefore feeds and trickles back into the physical body. So the physical body can now appropriate itself back into the harmony of itself. and we see these miraculous healings take place. Terry, that is what you're going to experience with your daughter. Okay? So your daughter is going to be a lot better in the next several days ahead. Okay? I'd say well up into between the next several days to a month. Okay? So feel free to keep in touch with me. Let me know how she's doing. newearthteachings.com. Go to the contact page. You can drop me a message there. All right? Okay, guys, thank you very much. I think we have one more request here from Judy1111. I think I'll take her request, and then we're going to do a group healing, and then we're going to wrap up the broadcast today. So Judy1111 says, my granddaughter Lenny has hip dysplasia, needs a harness 24/7. If unsuccessful, she requires surgery. Her hip socket is deformed and flat. Thank you. Okay. So we'll do some work in looking into her life streams, looking into her subtle body. Again, like I said, this is all just subtle body mechanics. Okay. We're going to help to bring that back, as there's a lot of severity in regards to her deformation. It may take a little bit longer before we start seeing some changes, but those changes are going to happen, okay? And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a feedback loop vibration into her hip so that it refreshes itself every single day, so that the energies can start to reset themselves a little bit more. But whenever we have hip problems, again, that also represents problems with Kundalini. Okay, that's Kundalini disruption, that's Kundalini leakage. And that basically can be caused through severe duress. It can sometimes be caused through physical duress, that causes emotional duress, that causes mental duress. Okay? So whenever we notice that a person is severely deformed within the state of the hip in that way, they've had some very, very shattering foundational issues in their life. A lot of it is great fear. A lot of it is great anxiety. A lot of it is feeling that their whole world is falling apart. They basically go into the greatest stages of disarray, and basically the greatest stages of dilemmas. Dilemma is the word I'm looking for, right? So it's a severe dilemma that basically deforms the hip in that way, right? We pour this stuff upon ourselves, and it's like just watching this very nasty black cloud that forms around the areas of the bone and just absorbing all of the goodness out of the bone until the bone itself gets so weak and fragile that it starts to break, that it gets deformed in that particular way. So there's a lot of reconstruction that your granddaughter Lenny will need, okay? But we will certainly work with cleaning her life streams to helping her with that condition, so we can at least lessen it at best, right? And like I said, I'll put that algorithm in there to help with refreshing every single day, to helping out with repairing the hip for her, okay? So Judy, if you want to offer some healing in the background, some love to your daughter, or granddaughter as well too, you can. Everybody else, same thing. This will be the last person, okay? Then we're going to go into group healing. All right. Okay, so Lenny is her name. So again, I will go ahead and connect with Lenny's higher self now. Okay, Lenny is here. And we will begin. God is making her better. God is making her better. God is making her better. All right. Love and appreciation to Lenny and to you, Judy. Thank you very much. So again, there is going to be work that's going to be done with her. Okay, she needs a lot of life force energy that needs to be brought into the hips. Okay, so the hips need to go through a major recovery right now. That may take some time, but nonetheless, that is being worked on her. Okay, but a lot of the life streams that are basically causing her problems with her hips have basically dried up and are being completely cleaned up altogether. Okay, so a lot of her karma is basically under review to be healed. Okay, to be cleared away. But this has to do with a lot of self-abuse, self-hurt, self-resentment, okay, self-disempowerment, and it has gone through many generations in her family. It has gone through many generations of herself. She has felt unloved. She felt her entire foundation has been crumbled away. She has felt unsupported. She felt that nobody has loved her. It's basically, again, detrimental energies that have basically taken place within the foundation of herself, which again is at the base or the coccyx. And again, this is going to cause Kundalini leakage. When that leakage happens, then again, there's a lot more disarray. There's deterioration, there's atrophy that comes into the hip. And even if she's young, doesn't matter. This is something that has brewed throughout her life streams for generations. So now she has an opportunity to turn it all around. So if she can continue to perform and heal herself and start bringing back the magic, so to speak, within herself, with her family there, supporting her every step of the way, this can ultimately be changed for her. Okay, a new turnaround needs to happen for her. Judy, I'm basically talking to you. Okay, I want you to be the best grandmother she could ever ask for, and you are just showering her with love every moment that you can. And that is going to give her so much strength to completely recuperate so that her hip is completely as good as new in time. Okay, and I want you to encourage the rest of the family to do it as well too. Same with her friends. Give her a love explosion. Okay, and that's really going to help her in recovery. Okay, but basically there's an algorithm within her hip that will refresh every 24 hours, giving the appropriate level of prana needed to assist with re-strengthening her hip again. Okay, this will take some time, but it's being done on her. Okay, thank you very much, both of you. Take care. Okay, guys, we're now going to go ahead and do some distance group healing. Okay, so we're going to do once again Shao Gong, and we're going to do some surrendering work. Okay, and that's the group healing that we're going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and stand up. So you can see me over here. All right, there we go. Okay. Move my fan a bit out of the way there. Okay. So we're going to do some Shao Gong. So if you guys aren't aware of what Shao Gong was, even if I've talked about it in the past, it's a Qigong practice. Okay? So basically, what we want to do is we can just keep our feet hip width apart. We can even do it shoulder width apart as well too. Okay? One of the simple ways I've discovered in doing that is very much borrowing something from Wing Chun Kung Fu. But basically you have both of your heels together, and then you're just moving the front part of your feet outwards, so it's like this. Okay, so it's like you're forming a V with your feet, and then just straighten them up. Okay, so if your heels are here, they're touching, V, straight. Okay, V, straight, and that's bringing you into a shoulder width stance. Okay, and that's perfect for Shao Gong. Okay, so with Shao Gong, I'm just going to demonstrate it a couple of times, and then we're going to do it together. Okay, so we're just inhaling. Bringing the hands up to the crown, then exhaling slowly. Stopping right at the navel for 3 seconds. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And then release. Okay, so I'll do it a second time now. Inhale. As you're exhaling, surrender everything. 1, 2, 3, release. Okay? So what we're going to do right now is I want you guys just to do a scan of your body. Okay, so just imagine like a green beam is just coming down, and it's just slowly starting to scan your body from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet. Okay, and as it's scanning you, I just want you to be aware of any areas within your body that you feel are out of alignment. Right? How's your hips? Right? Are your hips nice and aligned? Are they out of alignment? Then that would probably be an area that is compromised. How about your shoulders? How about your back? Okay. How about your organs? How about your breath? How about your lungs? Okay. Are you breathing okay? How about your throat? Is your throat sore? You have a headache. Okay? These are just spots. These are the spots that are compromised. You can refer to them very simply just as compromised spots. Okay? And all I want you to do is I want you just to be aware of where they are. Okay? As we go all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Okay? Remember what I've taught you guys about surrendering today. Okay? The only reason why we're having problems is because we want to go to war with ourselves. We want to fight the problems that we have. We become fed up, we become exhausted, and all we want to do is burn our problems into a raging inferno, but that's only going to make them stronger. Okay? You have to learn how to surrender. And that's exactly what we're doing in the Shaogong practice. Okay? So be aware, everywhere of your body that you feel again represents impairment. Okay? And now we're going to do Shaogong. So again, bring your feet together so that the heels are touching. Form a V, and then straighten them up. Okay? Now you're at shoulder stance. That's perfect for Shaogong. Okay? So now that you've scanned your body, we're going to do 3 Shaogong practices. Okay? So here we go. Deep breath in. And just gathering all of that energy of distortion, surrendering it, releasing, 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 releasing as you get to the navel, letting it be all absorbed for 1, 2, 3, let go. Second time. Inhale. Collecting it all through the hands. The hands are being your collectors as you breathe out. Surrendering, surrendering, surrendering. Releasing, 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 let go. Okay. One more time. Inhale. Gathering all the debris. As you exhale, surrendering, surrendering, surrendering. Release, 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 let go. Okay. So now we're just going to do a couple quick Shaogongs. Okay, not even thinking it, we're not doing any commentary, we're just going to do them very quickly. And one more time. Right at the navel. And you're done. Okay. Now some people will want to use certain techniques that can help in clearing a lot of debris off the body altogether, and that's a very good thing to do as well too, especially if you have like a bowl of sea salt filled with water and you're basically throwing the debris into the sea salt water. That's a very good thing to do. Okay. Another good thing to do is just do Shaogong. Okay. So when you're noticing that your whole space is messy, right? You feel like you have qi everywhere that's disgruntled, that's rancid. You're just gathering it all up with your hands, putting it into the lower dantian. Okay? The lower dantian, the navel center, is the collector of all of that debris, and it flushes it out of the body altogether. Okay? It digests everything, right? That's exactly why it's contained near the intestines. Okay? It's digesting all of that debris and it's flushing it out all around the body. Second option is yes, just have a bowl full of sea salt, put some lukewarm water into it, or cool water is fine too, and then just throw that into the bowl. Right? When you're done with that, take the bowl, flush it down the toilet. Take the bowl, not the bowl itself, but take the water out of the bowl, flush it down the toilet. I think you'll probably get your toilet plugged if you try to flush the bowl. Okay, take all the contents out of the bowl, flush it down the toilet, and you're good to go. Okay? So that is the group healing today, and that concludes our broadcast today for this Tuesday. I want to thank you guys again for joining me. I'll be back next Tuesday for another episode of New Earth TV Live, where we'll have another Adronis topic. Tell your friends, guys. All right, you guys are telling me how much you really enjoy this. Well, please share this video around, right? A lot of people don't know I'm bringing Adronis back. I've been doing quite a few weeks now with Adronis, and people are surprised. Brad, you brought him back? I thought he's gone, right? I had no idea. I'm even having old clients who I haven't talked to for years, amazed that Adronis is back now. Okay, so guys, I need your help. I want you just to go ahead and share this video. It's good that you're liking it. That's great. Please just press the share button. Okay, press the subscription button as well too. I've had a lot of people leave my channel because I'm not talking about the conspiracy and political stuff anymore. Frankly, it doesn't bother me. Right? So some people just know that I'm not doing that stuff anymore. I feel so much happier not doing that stuff anymore. When I was really doing that stuff, when I was talking about politics, I was talking about deep conspiracy stuff. Didn't feel good. After the broadcast, like, ugh, I just felt irritable. I just didn't feel good doing that stuff. And I'm very, very happy I'm not doing that stuff anymore. I'm very happy that I'm off it. This is why I say, guys, like, if you ask me questions about that, I'll do my best to elaborate on it. But I say it really just doesn't help you to look into that political stuff, to look into that deep conspiracy stuff, because it's all about helplessness. It's, oh my God, this is happening. What do we do? Oh my God, I'm a victim. Okay? Rather, we want to look into all the possibilities that exist and feed it with compassion. Right? Give life your support system. Give life your compassion, your love, your happiness. That's what's going to make things better. Worrying about things are only going to make it worse. That's you throwing the gigantic pillar on the fire, thinking you're going to burn it up, but in fact it just absorbs all that fire and it's getting stronger. Okay? What do? We clear away the verses. We clear away the fire. We snuff it out. Because we no longer see ourselves in adversarial nature with our tendencies. That's what clears everything up. Okay? Just a reminder for you guys. So thank you again. Please share this video. Please subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys again next week. Tomorrow, I'll be on AetherX YouTube channel, doing an AetherX live stream there as well too. So feel free to join me there. If you guys don't know where to go, youtube.com/AetherX store. That is the username. You can join me there for an episode of AetherX live stream. We've got some new products coming together. Again, there's a 20% discount that's coming. It's not May 20 off. It's actually end of May 20, all capital letters. That's the promo code you can use. You get 20% off everything in the store. Okay? Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow on the webcast, and I'll talk to you next week for the next New Earth TV Live. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, and may it be well with you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also AetherX.co. And through AetherX, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through AetherX. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on AetherX as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on AetherX. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, and may it be well with you.